Our ancestors crossed the great void untold millennia ago. Pilgrims from a dying world long since lost. From tumultuous beginnings, their struggle, courage, and fortitude gave birth to our civilization. For many centuries, our people prospered. Peace ruled our planet, and our understanding of the world around us grew. Our scientists have long speculated that ours was not the only tribe to make this journey and establish a new home on another world. But their searching has been met again and again with silence. Until now. The transmission was weak and incomplete, but in a language not unlike our own. Our anticipation grew. What culture and knowledge had our brothers developed during the long centuries of our separation? A starship was prepared, ambassadors recruited. But gradually, the meaning of the message became clear. It was a desperate call for help. Galvanized by the revelation that we are not alone, our fleet has been equipped, and we are ready to answer the call of our brethren. What shall we find as we set our course beyond the stars?
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Firaxis Games live stream for 2015. We're very excited to have you guys join us today. And with me, as my special guest, is Starships lead gameplay programmer, Mr. Sid Meier. Sid, thanks for coming out today.
Great to be here.
So you're just back from PAX South this past weekend, where you and Will and Dave were on a panel talking about Starships and the Beyond Earth universe. And one of the things you guys were talking about were sort of the inspirations for creating the game. Kind of what's the idea for making Starships? What's the driving dream behind it? So, what motivated you?
Well, I think most of the games that I've done have been kind of based on things that I was excited by when I was a kid, whether it's pirates or railroads or history, Civil War. I mean, these are things that when I was young, I kind of got into for a while and thought were fascinating. And then as a game designer, you kind of get to revisit these topics now with more of a game design adult perspective, but kind of try to keep that excitement that you felt as a kid about this topic. And I realized that I'd really never done a science fiction game, but it was one of the things. I remember when I was 12 years old, I think the original Star Trek series came on television. And I remember going, rushing home every Friday night to watch the Star Trek, Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock. And I remember it was Star Trek in the Wild Wild West. That was our Friday night, So that was a very impressionable age, at being a young teenager. And I think that has stuck with me. And what happened was a short time ago, or a while ago, our team was looking for the next project to work on. Mm-hmm. And we became aware of what was happening with Beyond Earth, that there was this really a compelling story that was being told in that game. The idea of leaving the Earth and this idea of the seeding and traveling to all these planets and establishing a new humanity there and going through the various struggles of establishing humanity and all the cool stuff that happens in Beyond Earth ends at a certain point. And we really haven't answered the question of what's happened to all these other pockets of humanity that have traveled throughout the galaxy. And that really sounded like a fascinating opportunity to kind of tell that next chapter in the story. And that's really where Starships begins. Just to clarify, they're separate games made by separate teams. You don't need to have Beyond Earth to play Starships. You don't need to have Starships to play Beyond Earth. But they exist in kind of the same fictional universe in this story of the future of humanity. So that's kind of was our starting point. And I think you saw perhaps in that trailer how the story continues and kind of where we begin when we enter into the world of Starships.
Mm-hmm. So this is, like you said, the next chapter, but you're kind of beginning at the end of a game of Beyond Earth and then something happens. You realize that there are more people out there. You know, what has happened to the rest of the seeding?
Right, we've played Beyond Earth. There's been 1,000 years of peace and prosperity and wonderfulness, and we've now developed these advanced starships. We're about to venture out into the galaxy and see what's out there. And at that moment, we received this call from help from another pocket of humanity that was part of the seeding. And our mission changes from one of exploration and just traveling around to visit everybody and see how they're doing, to one of urgency. There's trouble out there in the galaxy, and we're going to use our starship fleet to take care of, make the galaxy a better place for humanity.
All right, and that kind of leads us into the game. So let's go ahead and we will show everybody starships from the beginning here.
Yeah, let's start a new game.
Okay, that sounds
So
good.
the first thing that we're looking at is our option screen. How is this particular game going to be different from other games that we've started? One of the things that we love to do, of course, at Firaxis is think a lot about replayability. That every time you play the game, you can choose a different set of initial conditions. You can try different strategies, go down different paths, and this is really where that process starts here. We can look at our affinities. Again, these are concepts that are carried over from Beyond Earth. What affinity has our civilization pursued to get to the point that they're at now? Perhaps it's supremacy, which is focused on technology, and perhaps it's harmony, which is kind of tree hugging.
Sort of embracing the closeness with the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And purity, kind of the continuation of humanity, emphasizing our humanness. And each one of these affinities gives us a special ability, a special advantage that we have going forward into the game. Supremacy is interesting because they start the game with a wonder, with one specific really cool thing that they've already built to start the game. In addition to affinity, we're going to decide what leader is going to lead our civilization. Is it Bolivar, who's kind of a militaristic guy? He gets an extra starship to start the game. Kozlov is an industrialist. More metals, he can build things more quickly. And
Dao Ming up here.
Dao Ming, science, technology, starts the game with actually 2 extra tech upgrades. So it sounds like an interesting path to start down.
Okay.
With the map size, we can kind of control the length and complexity of the game. We can play a quick game on a small map, or we can go epic on a game that lasts almost forever.
Almost forever. Let's do that. No.
We'll go large.
We'll
go large here.
Can we go up the difficulty?
Yeah, we'll go up one more level.
Okay.
We don't want. This is a demo, so we don't want to be embarrassed in our first demo.
I still find it hard, difficult. But what's interesting is in Beyond Earth, your choice of affinity becomes one of the later decisions you make in the game. You know, you make some steps early on, but really it's your full identity doesn't establish until the end. And here in Starships, because you're continuing that from Beyond Earth, you kind of right from the get-go know what direction you've led your people. I think that's very cool.
All right, let's start the game. So once again, we've just built our starship fleet. We've gotten this call for help from another planet. And here we see our home planet. This is where we've had our Beyond Earth game, and we've established ourselves here. We've got 5 cities built. We're generating resources here. We're generating energy and metals and science and food. This is Capricorn 26, which is our home world. And the wonder that we've built is called Hyperlaunch. Hyperlaunch allows us to use our full movement allowance when we launch our fighters, which is a very useful advantage when we go into combat.
And we can actually improve our fighters further with science.
Right. One of the first things we might do is go into the tech screen and look at the science, the technologies that we can develop. Now you'll notice as you play the game that these are all focused around your starships, improving the systems on your starships. This game is called Starships. It's about starships, and you take the role of the fleet commander. So you have the coolest job in the galaxy, which is to command this fleet of starships. And so all the elements of the game, whether it's technology, improvements, wonders, kind of focus around the abilities of your starships. And we have the ability to upgrade individually each of the systems that we have on our starships. Now we'll kind of look at that in a second, but right now we would like to improve the abilities of our fighters, because that's kind of going to be our focus here, based on the wonder that we've built already. We don't have quite enough science to improve our artificial intelligence level.
Oh,
but
if only there were a way we could get 100 more points of science.
all we need is 100 science. How maybe we could go to the marketplace.
Gasp.
And sell food. Who needs food? You know, I mean, this is the future. We don't really need food. So we're going to sell our food here.
Later we'll talk about why you not
All right,
want to sell the food.
you're right. Food is very important. So we're going to buy some science in the market here, sell some food for credits, and buy some science.
This is our Spacepedia.
This is our Spacepedia, which is going to be fascinating later in the game.
Let's go ahead and, yep.
Now we have enough science to buy artificial intelligence. And what this does is it adds extra systems to our fighters as they're launched. We'll get, in this case, with one level of technology, we'll get one extra system. Could be a weapon system, could be a defensive system.
We can see, as Tom Ming, we've already gotten 2 of our free technologies, nanoelectronics and thermal compression, because they were sort of our
Those
bonuses.
were our free technologies that we got earlier in the game. So nanotechnology improves the abilities of our lasers. Now we're going to kind of want to remember that when we go into building our starships, because our lasers are a little bit extra powerful. And we also have a technology which improves our torpedoes.
Boomier torpedoes.
Boomier.
That's a technical term.
So we've talked about these starships, so let's take a look at them. So this is our initial starship fleet, 2 starships. And every ship in the world, whether it's our starships, enemy ships, anything we're going to run into out there, is made up of these various modules. And these are all things that I think any sci-fi fan would be familiar with. These are the building blocks of any cool starship. We have engines, for example. Gives us our speed, gives us our movement.
Yep.
We have shields, which absorb damage that other bad people try to inflict on us. Armor increases our hit points, the ability of our ship to endure damage.
What's interesting is that those are actually separate kind of defensive systems. One reduces the amount of incoming damage, and one actually increases your hit points pool. So
right.
You can kind of bring them up in parallel, or bias them one way or the other.
Right. The shields are armor kind of slows your ship down, so that's one of the trade-offs that you have to make. It's pretty effective, but your ship is going to travel slower with heavy armor on it. So there, as with anything, there's a lot of interesting trade-offs to be made here. Our weapons, lasers, are long-range weapons, very effective at long range. We have cannon, which are shorter range. They do more damage, but the range of these weapons are shorter.
That's the trade-off with those.
That is the trade-off. There's
Okay.
always a trade-off. Torpedoes, another interesting weapons. These travel very slowly, but they travel over a number of turns, and they can pass through asteroids, pass through obstacles. Kind of like grenades in XCOM, if you need to flush out some enemy that are hiding behind some cover, torpedoes are the weapon of choice. Sensors allow us to reveal cloaked enemy ships, and stealth allows us to cloak our own ship, hide our own ship. And finally, we have fighters, which are, you can attach a squadron of fighter or multiple squadrons of fighters to your starships. And what you can do with these tools is really create custom mission-specific starships. You might want a reconnaissance ship with a lot of speed and some great sensors on it that can kind of expose the enemy for the rest of your fleet. You might want to build a tank with a lot of cannon and armor on it.
Oh, yeah.
You might want an aircraft carrier, a bunch of fighters. Or a submarine, with torpedoes and stealth. So you can kind of create the starships of your dreams here. There's a lot of tools, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of variety available here.
And that's by ship. So if you want to have a mixed fleet, that I've got a frigate, and I've got a starship, and I've got...
That's a great way to play, is to have different ships for different roles.
So there's color tags on the ships. They are sort of tied to the ship to make them easier to identify tactically, correct?
That is correct. We have one ship with a white color and one ship with a bluish color to uniquely identify them.
Okay.
So since fighters are kind of our priority here, we added a fighter technology. We have a fighter-based wonder. we're going to make sure we have some fighters on our ships.
Okay.
Now, our strategy might be here to kind of launch our fighters and then kind of snipe at the enemy from long range. Once our fighters are out there, we don't need to move close to the enemy. So we're going to kind of beef up our longer range weapons and maybe sell our cannon, which are the shorter range weapons.
Right.
Now, we've noticed that our speed number has kind of gone into the red here, indicating our starships are a little bit slow. Speed and maneuverability are very important in battle. So we're going to bump up our engines to kind of get our speed rating up a little bit. We might want, can't have too powerful weapons. So I'm actually going to sell my torpedoes to get my lasers bumped up here.
And I noticed as you were doing that, modules were graying out, presumably because you don't have enough of an energy resource.
We have spent all of our energy here. We're down to only 50 energy left. So energy is the resource that we use to build, repair, and improve our starship fleet. And we'll see later on how we can generate more energy and how that's generated. So it looks like we have a fairly interesting pair of starships here. Some fighters to launch, some lasers, plus a relatively good amount of speed here. So
what we should do is we should go take them someplace where they can be useful.
That's a good idea, Pete.
Thank you.
Just so happens that we received a transmission from Tucanae 32 here. And we're not sure exactly what's going on there, but there's something amiss over there.
Can we kind of pan over to that world and zoom in a little bit and show everybody what that looks like?
Whoa,
Whoa! Such zoom.
Back up.
Okay.
Image.
Yeah. We can zoom very close.
Whoa. Ooh.
That's really cool. So is this like a volcanic planet?
This is a volcanic planet. In fact, it produces 50% more energy, as we see by our little tooltip there, than your average planet. There's also a mission available there. The problem that they're having is called Duel at Dawn.
Okay.
And if we complete that mission, they'll reward us with 30 credits and 2 influence points. We'll talk about that a little later.
Okay.
And the unique thing about this planet, every planet has something unique about it, is that their population is increasing rapidly. The primal urge is strong on this planet, and their population is increasing very rapidly.
Very conducive to life.
They already have 2 cities, and they'll probably soon have more.
So the number of cities functions a little bit like the population count for a city in Civ. The more people you have on a world, the more cities you have, the more stuff that planet is going to
Exactly.
generate.
The more resources that planet is going to generate.
I feel a strong urge to help these people.
You are a good person, Pete.
Thanks, Sid. I'm going to put that on my business cards.
So we receive a transmission here from Tucanae, and what's happening here is that the Marauders have come to this planet, and they are making a lot of trouble. Marauders are bad people, and they need to be dealt with. Their commander has challenged us to a duel, his 2 best ships against our 2 best ships. So let's go to the bridge here. This is the bridge view. We see the planet coming into view. Our officers are here to help us out, give us information, help us prepare for this mission. We might want to know a little more about the planet. In particular, critical hits cannot be repaired at this star system. So that's something we're going to kind of want to think about as we go into the battle. That's the unique characteristics of the mission that we're about to go into.
And that can change from world to world.
Every
correct?
world has a different set of unique conditions that affect the missions there.
Okay.
We're very interested in who are these Marauders, what kind of ships do they have, and luckily our crew is able to give us some information about the enemy. They have 2 corvettes, and again, as with all the starships and vessels that we'll run into in the game, they're built of these various modules.
Oh, they've got a stealth ship.
They have a stealth module on one of their ships. They've got some powerful lasers here. The armor engines are pretty meaty here. So these are it's going to be an interesting battle. This could be, in fact, our officer here is calculating our chance of success is only 54%.
He underestimates our
He is
chances.
he's a pessimist, I have to say, but it gives us an idea of kind of what we're going to be going into.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry, go ahead.
If we wanted to, we could actually do some last-minute customization of our starships based on the information that we received from our crew. But I think we've got some pretty awesome starships here. We're going to kind of keep them the way they
Seems
are.
like we have good counters for everything that they would do
Yeah.
on their side, so
Yeah.
it seems like that would be solid.
So let's go into this mission. Let's go into battle.
Okay.
As a reminder, our job is to get rid of those marauders.
Okay.
These are our starships, and here we see the marauder starships circling the planet there.
Oh, where'd he go?
They just turned on their stealth system. That purple ring shows us the radius of their stealth system.
Okay, so and because we're outside of that purple ring, we can't see him.
Exactly,
right now.
we cannot see them right
Okay,
now.
now this is a cool map with a lot of cool things
This
happening.
is a very cool map. And of course, we love maps. Maps are our friend. We would never make a game without a map or two in it. And the map gives us some very interesting tactical possibilities. What we're seeing here is asteroids, for example. Asteroids block movement, and they also provide us cover against enemy fire. And they're very important part of our tactics, using the asteroids to our advantage. We also see here what's called a narrow passage. These are asteroid fields that are gradually open and closing. On one turn, they might be open. On the next turn, they might be closed. So the playfield evolves and changes as the battle goes on.
So you need to be aware of those. You know, you don't want to avoid a situation where a back door suddenly opens on your line and
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We also have jump gates. If you enter a jump gate, you're going to appear at another jump gate randomly. So it kind of adds another dimension of unpredictability to the battles.
So it's completely random where you come out from?
It's completely random, unless you have a certain wonder, which allows you to control your jump gates. With every rule, of course, there's an exception. And the only exception is the wonder.
Yep. Okay, so we
So
know
here-
there's two enemy ships, and it looks like we're being prompted to bring our ships up.
Right, it's time to move our ships. Going to move this first starship up. And then, so now we've revealed the other starship, the enemy starship. We're inside his stealth radius. And of course, we're going to launch our fighters because we put a lot of energy into building this fighter squadron.
Wow, look how fast these fighters
And these
are.
guys, using our hyper launch wonder, are going to be able to really go into action on their very first turn.
And they have two engine modules too, so they're nice,
Very fast.
nice and fast.
Now, as we mouse over the enemy ships, we see the amount of damage that we can do to them.
Okay.
And that is affected by a lot of different considerations. We can actually see in the upper right-hand corner a lot of the things that go into that calculation, the power of your weapons, the range, any asteroids interference between you and them, how many shields does the enemy have, and what direction are they facing. Their shields are less effective if you're shooting from the side or behind, as opposed to shooting from in front. So all those considerations go into taking a shot with your weapons.
And there's no die roll. I mean, we're going to do
That's
85 points
That's
damage.
85, correct. This is the future. We have powerful computers that will predict what's going to happen.
With great certainty.
And there's no doubt about this. Now, we see we can do 85 hit points of damage, and coincidentally, the ship, their Corvette, the Calamity, has 80 hit points. So this could turn out to be great for us. Whoa.
That'll show them.
Oh, that'll show those marauders. Doggone it. Challenge us.
So we've got one more marauder.
Got
What if we came up behind the planet there, towards the top of the screen, and then hyper launch our fighters? Maybe we could
Let's give that
maybe
a
we could
try.
sneak them around the back.
If this doesn't work, I blame you, Pete.
You wouldn't be the
The
first
future
one.
of the galaxy is in your hands.
Ask Twitch chat how they feel about my tactical sense.
So you're right, we've launched our fighter, and we are able to get behind the enemy here.
So now, because we're shooting from behind, this should do more damage.
We actually do 92 hit points worth of damage. And just for fun, why don't we check and see what our battle card is here? we can increase the speed of our this is going to be fun. So we're going to increase the speed of our fighter by 2 by using this battle card.
Will that let us do it? It's going to let us. Oh, it gives us that bonus movement.
We can sneak up right behind him. Oh, 149 hit points of damage.
Whoa.
So this is, again, it's going to be good for us.
I think we should shoot.
Wow, I have to congratulate you, Pete. Your tactical sense came through.
I can retire happy now. Sid Meier has told me that I have tactical senses. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to retire. So now we have a score.
A little recap of the battle, what sort of damage we did to the enemy, what sort of damage they did to us, and that generates a score for this particular mission, which we can, if we want to, compare with the score for other players who played this same mission. We also get that reward of 300 credits that was promised to us if we completed the mission. We also get influence of this planet. Since we were the first to visit them, we get 1, and since we accomplished the mission, we get another influence. And influence is a way of building your federation, and something we'll talk about a little later, but there's a long-term goal to this game that involves your federation. They also have a mission for us. If we can go to another planet and deliver this phased array, we'll get better sensors on our ships. So that kind of gives us a motivation to travel to Craterus 69.
Now, do we control this planet now that we have met them?
We do not control it, but we have 2 influence points here.
Okay.
If we can get that up to 4 by completing more missions or other ways, then it will become part of our federation, and we'll see our borders grow as this planet becomes part of our federation.
Okay.
Since we do have a trade route established here with 2 influence, we are starting to receive some resources from this planet, 150 energy and
some metals and some science.
Things like that.
Now that bonus energy is coming from the fact that this is the volcanic planet.
This is a volcanic planet that generates extra energy, 50% more energy than your average planet.
Now there's things you can do to increase the yields on different planets. We're not going to go into that today. We're going to tantalize you.
Yes, there are really cool things that you can do too. What we see here now is that we're getting a broader view of the galaxy. We see there are more planets out there, more star systems. They have missions available for us, Convoy, the Thuringian Solution, collect them all with different special abilities for each of these planets.
Yep.
There's also another civilization over here. So we're starting to understand that we're not the only humans that have created starships and are starting to expand their empire. And that becomes more and more important as you go through the game, that this galaxy may not be big enough for all of us. And there may be some tension as we go deeper into the game. But for now, we're going to focus on these missions, accomplishing these missions, and helping out the other humans around the galaxy. Just a couple of things to note on this screen. This is our crew down here. 7 of our crew members have very exciting and jumpy brainwaves, so they are in good shape. But 3 of our crew members have kind of, their brainwaves have gotten a little boring, and they are no longer quite as effective as they were at the beginning of this voyage. And so we can continue to accomplish missions and travel, but both of those things will cause some of our crew to become less effective. And we can kind of push our luck as far as we dare here, but at a certain point, our crew is really not really as effective as they could be. And of course, the antidote for a tired crew is always shore leave.
Okay.
Which really is equivalent to ending our turn.
Oh, there's another leader.
So now we've received a transmission from one of the other leaders out there. This is Kavatha.
Yep.
She represents the Second Galactic Alliance.
Who apparently went Harmony in their world.
Right. They have Harmony-based starships. She has 2 corvettes in her fleet. We might be interested to know she has a single planet. That's their home planet. So we can communicate and initiate diplomacy with the other leaders that are out there. Right now, we have other matters to attend to. So
yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, now so she's going to go
So
on
now
missions
she's
too.
taking her turn. She's visiting other planets and helping them out.
Oh,
Here's
Utama.
Utama.
Yep.
Okay, so he's also has his own civilization, and he's exploring the galaxy. Also, Harmony. Got a little damage to one of his destroyers here, apparently in one of his battles.
He must not be as smart tactically as I am.
He must not have you to advise him, I assume.
Clearly.
Receiving all resources from two heavy
So the other civilizations have taken their turn. Our shore leave has now been everybody's been recalled back to the ship. Because we spent our shore leave here, we actually get one more influence.
Okay.
We'll notice our crew is all brainwave energized, ready to go on another mission, another series of missions. We can, whenever we want, we can communicate with these leaders that we've established contact with. And at the end of a turn, during the turns, we also collect all of our resources. So we'll now notice that our resources have gotten bumped up, energy, metals, science, etc.
So the next time we hit end turn, our shore leave, that total will be added to whatever our
Right.
resource total is for the
The
turn.
small number here is our per turn bump in all the different resources.
That's pretty
We
cool.
have a bunch of energy, so we could go and add more systems to our starships. We love those fighters; they were very effective. So we're going to add a second fighter module to each of our starships.
And every time you do that, like the ship changes slightly too.
Right, you can see, if you watch the engines, for example, on the ship, you can see change here as we upgrade the engines.
Yep.
So each starship is unique in the way that you customize it.
That's pretty cool. So there's a couple other things before we step away from this current game. Is I noticed some of the missions that were green before have kind of turned this orange color. So there's Convoy, for example, and Circini 3-2 has gone from being what was a green mission last turn to like this yellowy orange color.
That's correct. That mission, since we didn't deal with that situation in the last turn, it's become more urgent.
Okay.
It's become more difficult. However, if we accomplish it, we receive more influence. For a green mission, we receive 1 influence. For a orangish mission, we actually get 2 influence. So the more difficult the missions are, the more influence we will achieve at that star system for performing the missions. So we always get this choice: so do we want to go to an easier mission, a harder mission with a larger reward? Also looking at the various abilities that each planet has. At this planet, we can build our engines more cheaply.
Okay. So it costs less
Costs
energy.
less to energy to add engines to our starships. Here we can build wonders more cheaply, more effectively. So every planet has something interesting about it that kind of affects your strategy and can play a part in your thinking about the game.
Can you give us a quick peek at what like a late game might look like as the galaxy starts to expand?
Yeah, let me load one up here.
Well,
So here we are kind of later in the game, maybe about halfway through. You can see the borders of our civilization have expanded, the borders of the other civilizations have expanded, and it's starting to become more about alliances between civilizations, about their fleet versus our fleet. The battles get more interesting, more starships, the more powerful starships that you're up against, and you're really kind of in a competition with the other civilizations that are out there. There are a variety of ways to win the game. There's population, there's the classic domination victory. Also, technology and building wonders are ways to win the game. So you're competing with these other civilizations in a very tense and challenging way as the game progresses kind of into the second half.
and I noticed that the yields you're getting per planet are really, really big now. I mean, over 10,000 for most of it, almost 20,000 in other cases. So again, the kind of each turn, every time you end a turn, you know, not only are you going to be getting a bunch of stuff on your next turn, but so are your opponents. They're really going to be able to, you know, repair those starships, bring them back online, maybe, you know, put up more planetary defenders, things like that.
Right, you're able to add additional starships to your fleet. You're able to bump up the modules and the power of your starships till they become pretty awesome. So the game definitely grows and grows, and you know, the quality and the fun of your starship fleet.
Very cool. So we're going to just leave you guys with a tantalizing glimpse of that, and we're going to talk about Starships some more, the various systems and how they work together. But for right now, let's just come back to the studio. And thank you for giving us a quick introduction to Starships.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So on the next few live streams, we'll look at some of the other things you do in Starships about building planetary
Right, we'll talk
improvements.
about wonders, improvements. There's a lot of aspects of the game that kind of all tie into the quality and the abilities of your starship fleet. But yeah,
But
we're happy
you're-
to look at that.
Cool, but as always, you're the admiral of the fleet. You're the guy having the most fun.
You
in
have the
galaxy.
most fun in the galaxy, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us for our first live stream of 2015 as we look at Sid Meier's Starships. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we have here at Firaxis. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week at the same time.